You ever have one of those moments, you're a manager, you're trying to do everything right, give that helpful, constructive feedback, and it just completely blows up in your face? You walk away feeling totally frustrated, your team member is defensive, and literally nothing gets better. It's this maddening paradox so many of us face. Well, today we're going to unpack exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how to fix it by following one manager's journey right through the heart of this problem. It all starts with these three simple, crushing words. You can just feel the defeat in them, right? This came from a manager just 2 weeks after a coaching session where they'd learned a new technique, they tried to be a better leader, and the result was, well, that. Let's dig into their story. So picture this. The manager sits down with one of their team members, Marcus. He's missed a big client deadline. They decide to use that classic adult-to-adult approach. Just the facts, no judgment. They lay out what happened and simply ask, "So what went on here?" And boom, that's what they got back. Instead of a productive chat, Marcus immediately threw up his defenses. He accuses the manager of not having his back, literally crosses his arms, and the conversation just dies right there. The manager is left completely baffled and honestly feeling a little bit attacked. Does any of this sound familiar? And it wasn't just Marcus. The manager starts noticing this really frustrating pattern. With another employee, Jen, every single offer to help is shot down with a yes, but. Yes, that's a good idea, but I'm swamped. Yes, I could try that, but it probably won't work. The manager is throwing out solutions, and Jen is just swatting them away, one by one. So this brings us to the very heart of the feedback paradox. The manager's intentions are spot on. They are genuinely trying to help and support their team. But it seems like the more energy they pour in, the more resistance they get back. It's this exhausting, demoralizing loop that leads them to ask the one question we're all thinking. What on earth am I doing wrong here? And the answer they get from their coach is not at all what they expected. The coach says, look, this isn't just a simple communication problem. It's actually a psychological game. And then comes the real kicker. The manager isn't just an innocent bystander in all this. They're an active, if unknowing, player in the game. So what in the world is a psychological game? Well, according to transactional analysis, it's definitely not about having fun. It's this unconscious, predictable cycle that we get stuck in. And look at the key ingredients here. It's repetitive. There's always a hidden motive driving it, and it always ends the same way. Everybody feels kind of lousy, but also weirdly justified, and nothing actually changes. Okay, so to actually see these invisible games while they're happening, we can use a really powerful tool called the drama triangle. It basically maps out the three predictable roles that people fall into when these conflicts kick off. First up, we've got the persecutor. This is the finger pointer, the one who blames and criticizes. They're basically playing the role of the bad guy. Often, this comes from a place of feeling like they need to be in control or that they're under threat. Then there's the victim. The victim feels powerless, like things are always happening to them. Their go-to line is basically, poor me. It's a role that can feel kind of safe because you don't have to take responsibility, but it ultimately keeps you stuck and feeling helpless. And rounding out the triangle is the rescuer. Now, this one sounds like the good guy, right? The rescuer loves to swoop in and fix the victim's problems, a lot of times without even being asked. Their motto is, I'll help you, but the hidden motive is often about feeling needed, or maybe even avoiding their own problems by focusing on someone else's. So let's trace the manager's wild ride around this triangle with Marcus. It happens so fast. They start as the persecutor, delivering the bad news about the deadline. Instantly, Marcus shifts into victim mode. I'm so overwhelmed. Without missing a beat, the manager jumps into the rescuer role, saying, don't worry, let's figure this out together. But when Marcus pushes back, suddenly the manager feels attacked, and boom, they've landed in the victim spot themselves. See how quickly that happened? It's lightning fast. All right, so if playing the game is so exhausting and gets us nowhere, how do we stop? The whole key is to learn how to consciously step off the drama triangle and shift into a more objective, adult mindset. The very first step is just to recognize when you're being invited to play. For so many managers, the hook is that feeling deep in your gut, that sudden, overwhelming urge that says, oh no, they're struggling. I have to fix this for them. That feeling right there, that's your personal alarm bell. It's the signal that you are about to step right into the rescuer role and kick off the whole game. Just look at how a tiny shift in your words can change everything. When Marcus gets defensive, the game response, the rescuer, is, let's figure this out for you. But the coach, the adult, does something different. They say, I hear you're managing a lot. What's your plan for the report? They hand the power back. Same with Jen. Instead of jumping in with solutions, the coach just asks, what are you looking for from this conversation? It completely short-circuits the game before it can even start.
And this gets to the absolute core of it all. Rescuing feels like helping. It makes us feel good, it makes us feel needed, but what it actually does is keep people dependent on us. Real support, genuine coaching isn't about solving their problems. It's about truly believing that they are capable of solving their own and then holding that space for them to do it. That's the real shift.
So what does this new coach's stance actually look like in the real world? Let's break down the practical toolkit you can start using to stay out of the drama. Here are a few things you can start doing immediately. First, just notice your own impulse. Feel that pull to rescue or defend. Just notice it. Second, get curious instead of reactive. Ask things like, help me understand what's going on for you. Third, give them back their power. Ask, what are you looking for here? You can even gently name the pattern without any blame. And finally, be super clear about your role. That clarity is like a shield against these games. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road. The very next time you walk into one of these tricky conversations, you now have a choice. You can slip back into those old, familiar roles on the drama triangle, or you can consciously decide to stay off it. You can make the shift from being just another player in the game to being a true coach for your team.
And that really leaves us with this one powerful question to carry forward. The line between these two things can feel incredibly thin sometimes, but the difference in the results is absolutely massive. So ask yourself, are you accidentally keeping your team dependent by constantly rescuing them? Or are you truly empowering them to grow by coaching them? The choice is always yours.